This girl accidentally transmigrates into a dark, gloomy novel. Now she is in a 19-plus rated world where the main characters obliterate one another. To survive, she yearns for victory and determines to nurture the female lead, aiming to stop the villain possessed by a demon from destroying the world. Little does she expect. Just as her plan is about to succeed, that crazed, insidious villain suddenly reforms and turns to pursue her passionately. The original novel she transmigrates into is a work filled with unresolved plot holes. The author abandons it midway, leaving behind a chaotic mess of a plot. In the original work, two princes of the empire plunge into a war for the throne. First, Prince Damien is a benevolent and perfect ruler in the eyes of the world, but in truth, he is obstinate, frenzied, and ruthless. To seize divine power, he does not hesitate to imprison the female lead, becoming the ultimate villain of the entire story. Second, Prince Fried is the rightful male lead. After Fried wins the war for the throne, Damien suffers a crushing defeat and, unable to accept reality, openly instigates a rebellion, and Levi Heron is the unfortunate extra who loses her life in that rebellion. She is the only daughter of the knightly Heron family, inheriting the family's unique divine power, but she is weak and sickly since childhood, completely lacking a voice in her own household. In the original novel, Levi infatuatedly stalks the male lead to no avail, and after the first prince's rebellion, she quickly fades from the storyline. Fortunately, the rebellion is slated to happen 3 years from now, giving her ample time to reform her family and alter the course of the plot. Right at this moment, a knock sounds at the door, and the person who enters is her uncle. Erin, the original host's mother, passes away early, and her father travels abroad all year round, so Levi once relies heavily on this uncle. But she knows all too well that he is the main culprit behind the future downfall of the Heron family. The first step to changing her destiny is to start with him. On the surface, Levi still acts close and obedient, but secretly gathers evidence of his embezzlement and misappropriation of family assets. When the evidence is undeniable, she personally leads her people to arrest Aaron. Seeing his scheme exposed, Aaron decisively tears off his hypocritical mask. But the current Levi has already begun to cultivate her divine power, and in the blink of an eye she subdues him. The first Baron of Heron has the true form of a divine white lion, once assisting the late emperor in slaying demonic beasts. The pure divine power is passed down through generations, ultimately converging in Levi. Before this power, everyone in the family must bow and obey. After subduing Aaron, the repercussions of her frail body kick in. Levi staggers, but the butler steps forward just in time to support her and confesses the past. It turns out everyone in the manor has long realized Aaron has malicious intentions. Only because the original host is too dependent on her uncle, they fear she cannot bear the truth, and her illness will worsen, so they can only helplessly protect her in secret. Now, seeing her take the initiative to clean house, they immediately honor her as the acting family head. The butler also presents an academy admission letter confiscated from Aaron's place. The laws of the empire decree that all nobles, upon reaching adulthood, must enter the Royal Academy to pursue higher education and cultivation. She coincidentally also intends to enroll, as all the key characters in the story gather at this very school. However, Levi never expects that on her very first day, she will run straight into the original work's greatest villain. Damien's gaze falls indifferently upon her, his voice carrying a hint of scrutiny as he speaks. "You are of the Heron family," Levi suppresses the panic in her heart and adjusts her posture to offer a salute. "Greetings, Your Highness. I am Levi of the Heron family. I apologize for not saluting sooner. Please forgive me." The corner of Damien's lips curls up, his tone probing. "I am not the second prince. Are you very disappointed?" Levi's heart tightens. Surely he witnesses the events of that day. Damien views Fried as a rival, so he naturally harbors ill feelings toward Levi, who harbors deep affection for Fried. She must find a way to make him lower his guard. "Your Highness misunderstands. I have been weak and sickly since youth, which delays my enrollment by a year. Today is my first time at school, and I am simply too overwhelmed with excitement, causing me to lose my focus for a moment. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Seeing a flicker of curiosity in Damien's eyes, she seizes the opportunity to continue. Perhaps your highness will find it amusing, but you once invite us, the children of the nobility, to a lakeside banquet. I still keep the painting from that day at home. Perhaps because I gaze upon that painting so often, I fail to recognize your current appearance for a moment. In the original novel, after the rebellion ends, Damien searches for that painting first, as it holds the last memories of him and his late Empress Mother. This is undoubtedly the softest spot in his heart. Sure enough, Damien's expression softens slightly. You certainly have a way with words. Ordinary people easily forget such trivial childhood matters. Even if you are disappointed just now because I am not freed, I do not hold it against you. Levi immediately speaks up to deny it. Your Highness, it is just that the crowd today is stuffy, and I feel momentarily unwell, hence my lapse in manners. It is not at all what your Highness thinks. No need to make excuses. To be so bashful that you almost faint from excitement shows just how much you truly like him. Damien's voice carries a hint of amusement as he strides toward the teaching building. I remember you now. At the freshman entrance ceremony, the priest stands on the altar to offer prayers of blessing. Damien clasps his hands, lowering his eyes in devout prayer, looking so holy he resembles an angel. Leave. Silently marvels. He is indeed a master of disguise, just like in the original novel. As soon as the ceremony concludes, the high priest of the holy temple steps up to him. Thank you, your highness, for attending today's entrance ceremony on behalf of Prince Fried. Damien nods humbly, his gentle demeanor leaving no room for fault. To receive the blessings of the gods, I am the one who should express gratitude. I only hope the goddess looks down with mercy to protect Holy Knight Commander Fried, who works tirelessly day and night. He replies flawlessly, showing not a shred of resentment for having to attend in Fried's stead, completely unlike his probing manner with her earlier. Thinking of the dark, twisted plot points of the original novel, she cannot reconcile the gentle prince before her eyes with the ruthless tyrant. This only makes her more steadfast in her resolve to stay far away from this dangerous figure. Returning to his private lounge, Damien irritably loosens his collar. He is born without divine power, which is the main reason why first Prince Damien falls short of Fried in the original novel. The high priest's praise sounds complimentary, but in truth it is a bitter sarcasm. One who lacks divine power, no matter how devoutly they pray, can never receive the blessing of the gods. His guardian knight pours him a cup of tea and offers words of comfort. Do not take it to heart, your highness. Damien raises the teacup, only to realize it is lemon tea, the favorite drink of his late empress mother during her lifetime. A trace of warmth flickers deep in his eyes. Damien's mother is the former empress, renowned for her exquisite beauty and extremely powerful divine power. Thus, despite coming from a viscount's family, she still ascends to the position of empress. However, everything begins to crumble when the late emperor falls gravely ill. The holy temple proclaims that because the empress bears an ill omen and angers the gods, the sovereign lies bedridden. To cure the late emperor, the royal family marries the daughter of Duke Royas, a woman backed by the holy temple as the new consort. Just like that, the former empress passes away in resentment amidst countless slanders and insults from the new consort and the crowds. The nobles who once rely on her betray them one by one. In the end, only a single knight from his mother's family remains by his side. Damien silently vows in his heart that until his deep hatred is avenged, he absolutely does not throw away his life easily. To survive and ascend the throne, he must become flawlessly perfect, never allowing the holy temple to grasp any weakness. He witnesses with his own eyes how the holy temple, in the name of divine will, massacres the innocent and manipulates the court. He must absolutely never let these people control the entire empire. Having finished his report, the knight bows and withdraws, promising to escort his highness after the banquet ends. Speaking of the entrance banquet, Damien immediately recalls the young miss of the Heron family. He thinks that because she is sickly all year round, her spirit must be utterly exhausted. But meeting her today, save for that familiar golden hair, her aura is entirely different. The image of her calling his name with a smile suddenly flashes through Damien's mind, and a strange Inexplicable heat surges within his chest. It is starting again. Since puberty, he is tormented by these overflowing desires. Previously, he uses self-cultivation to suppress these impulses. But even after reaching the rank of a swordmaster, this condition still occasionally manifests. In the inborn royal family, there are those who lose control and die due to addiction to this sensation. For many years, he always maintains celibacy and restrains all stray thoughts. He struggles to suppress the restlessness in his heart, his reason constantly reminding himself it is only because her mention of his mother's old memories touches his weak spot that she leaves such a deep impression. On him, forget her. After all, her heart belongs to Freed, and they should never have any intersection to begin with. The banquet after the entrance ceremony is a prestigious social event for the nobility. Amidst the crowd, Levi looks around, eagerly searching for the female lead of the original novel. She wants to prevent Damien's rebellion and rewrite everyone's tragedy. She must befriend and protect the female lead early on. This is the perfect opportunity. But before she can find the female lead, harsh whispers from the surroundings reach her ears. That is the daughter of Baron G, yet she lives in that dilapidated dormitory. Word has it she is not allowed to touch her parents' inheritance and can only scrape by. No wonder she does not even dare to show her face at the banquet. A surge of disgust rises in Levi's heart. It is precisely because of the existence of people like them that she dares not appear. Just as she prepares to continue searching for the female lead, the gossip shifts to her. Ah, right, the dead weight of the Heron family has also enrolled. As the heir to the Empire's sword, not only is she weak and useless, but she also stalks the prince all day long. If I am her, I have no dignity left to go on living. What do you mean by having no dignity left to live? Levi walks straight up to them. I carry the protection of the first-generation deity and am the rightful heir of Heron. In this lifetime, I will absolutely never do anything to tarnish the family's reputation. The man sitting in the very center finally stands up, the same one who just utters those malicious words. He is Ivan, the heir of the G family. Historically, the G family is loyal to Heron, but with Heron's day-by-day decline, they long ago harbor contempt, maintaining only a facade of respect. Facing his greeting, Levi shows no courtesy, directly channeling her divine power. The wine glass on the table hovers in midair, splashing all the wine straight onto the man. She hurls all his earlier mockery right back at him. As the Empire's shield, can you not even block this? If I am you, to avoid bringing shame to my family, I choose to end my own life long ago. If you have any grievances against me, let us duel fair and square, staking the honor of our two families. Ivan's face turns pale. Even though Levi is weak, the legacy of the authentic divine power passed down by the Heron family is absolutely not something the G family can insult. He dares not accept the challenge, only able to sullenly grudgingly shuts their mouth and leaves. After this incident, Levi gives up searching for anyone at the banquet and heads straight to the female lead's dormitory. The dilapidation and desolation before her eyes are even more tragic than she ever imagines. In the original novel, Isla's fate is incredibly tragic. Her parents pass away early in an accident, and although they leave behind a massive fortune, it is managed by the bank. She can only access it upon reaching adulthood. She is not only stripped of her inheritance by her uncle, but also deprived of her freedom. Her uncle even repeatedly stages countless accidents to push her to the brink of death. Just as Isla is facing death, Freed steps in to save her. Gradually, Isla is moved by his kindness and gentleness. The two should have been the most perfect and powerful couple in the story, but in the end, they must face Damien's rebellion. Therefore, Levi decides to execute her second plan, to rescue Isla ahead of schedule and personally nurture her to become the strongest holy maiden. Right at this moment, a suspicious, spying gaze locks onto her. Levi instantly becomes alert and channels her divine power, but the other party evades the attack. Amidst the shadows of the trees in the night, a black bat darts past. She continues to condense her strength as a short sword materializes from her palm. She turns around, throwing it forcefully and striking the target with absolute precision. The hard training of the past few days does not go to waste. Her control over her divine power grows more and more refined. Once more, a faint, rustling sound reaches her ears. Who is there? Levi demands in a loud voice, behind a tree not far away. A delicate figure slowly steps out. The young girl's voice carries a trace of fear. I am sorry, I did not mean to peek. The gentle moonlight shines down, illuminating the girl's pale yet delicate features. The newcomer is none other than the original female lead she is looking for. Isla's beauty holds Levi spellbound, leaving her momentarily dazed. On the spot, there is no need to apologize. I am just passing by. This is our first time meeting. Hello. I am a new student, Levi Heron. Isla, who was timid just a moment ago, suddenly raises her voice in excitement. Are you the eldest young miss who inherits the protective power of the family? I heard that members of the Heron family can summon all kinds of swords. The admiration in Isla's eyes is completely undisguised. To see it with my own eyes today, I am truly honored. The female lead's sudden enthusiasm startles Levi for a moment, and only after a long pause does she reply softly. Thank you, she pretends not to know. Isla, may I ask your name, young miss? Isla takes half a step back, a hint of low self-esteem quietly rising in her eyes. Then, she states her name candidly, making no effort to hide her family background. They're similar. Circumstances bring a wave of sympathy to Levi's heart. Actually, I am the same. She shares the story of her Uncle Aaron, clearly recounting her past of suing him herself and throwing him into prison. I know how hard it is to be betrayed by family, but I want to tell you, don't be too disheartened. There is always a way to overcome any hardship. Isla lowers her head in silence for a long time before she slowly speaks. Can I also become strong like you in the future? The corner of Levi's lips curls up slightly. She has never thought that one day she would be defined by someone else as strong. She looks straight into Isla's eyes, her tone serious and firm. Of course. You can, starting tomorrow, let us walk this path together. Isla is stunned. Together? Yes, we will find a way to become stronger together. I will help you, so let's meet here tomorrow at noon. Shall we? Fearing rejection from Isla, as soon as Levi finishes speaking. She waves her hand and turns to leave. At this moment, her heart feels light and bright. She never expects that drawing closer to the female lead can be this easy. A few days pass in the blink of an eye, and Freed has not yet arrived at the academy. In class, Damien sits listlessly in his seat. As it draws close to class time, the door is pushed open. Two figures who never crossed paths before now walk in side by side. Levi and Isla. Whispers instantly erupt all around them. What a bizarre combination. I suppose only those with flaws gather together. Levi completely ignores the critical remarks and leads Isla to an empty row of seats. Since she became acquainted with Isla a week ago, her training plan has been progressing steadily, but there is still one thing that weighs heavily on her mind. The corpse of the bat from that night has still not been found, but she has already locked onto a prime suspect. In her mind, the demonology Professor Royas. He is the brother of the noble consort. He not only supports the second prince, but is also the true culprit behind the death of Damien's mother. The bat used to spy on her that day, most likely comes from his hands. Sensing Royas's gaze shifting toward her, Levi immediately retracts her thoughts and flashes a harmless smile. The professor pulls his gaze back and continues his lecture. Demonic beasts born from the sins of the world are disgraceful existences. They attach themselves to humans who possess attributes compatible with them. For instance, a demonic beast symbolizing lust will choose someone with a depraved nature to possess. The possessed will ultimately lose their sanity, turning into a brutal beast. Next, we will directly observe a demonic beast. He motions with his hand, and his assistant immediately pulls off the black cloth covering the iron cage, revealing a real demonic beast inside. Right after that, Royas's gaze shifts, directing a malicious probe toward Levi. I wonder if we have the honor of witnessing the protective power of the Heron family, the Empire's sword. In front of everyone, her left hand condenses mana, and a greatsword appears hovering in midair. In the blink of an eye, Levi slays the demonic beast inside the cage. The demonology professor, who intentionally plots to make things difficult for her, is left dumbfounded with his mouth wide open. In shock, No one expects that the eldest miss of the Heron family, rumored to be frail and sickly, possesses such formidable strength. Damien looks suspicious. How strange, in his memory, the Levi of the past is nothing like this. Having failed to cause trouble, the professor has no choice but to resume his lecture. As you can see, divine power can slay demonic beasts, but to completely eradicate them, we must submerge the demonic beast in holy water. Saying this, he also takes the opportunity to praise the immense holy power of the second prince freed. The demonic beast in the cage is precisely captured by him. Very well, Miss Heron, you may return to your seat. Levi bows slightly in courtesy. Her gestures and etiquette are impeccable. This sight makes the professor's face turn even uglier. This brat is exactly like her father. He tried multiple times to win the Heron family over to the second prince's side, but Levi's father remained steadfast in his neutrality, flatly declaring that the family's protective power is only to protect the common people. If that is all, he would not have targeted Levi so intentionally. Before this, he accidentally caught Levi having a private conversation with the first prince, which is why he decided to humiliate her in front of the crowd. Stepping out of the academic building, Isla immediately cheers with excitement. This time, no one will dare to gossip about you so freely anymore. If only you can quickly advance to the second year, I will also get to learn basic magic with you. Levi sighs softly. In her heart, what you need to learn is not simple magic at all. According to the original novel, a year from now, the divine power within Isla's body will awaken, a source of energy capable of destroying an entire city. If the plan goes smoothly, perhaps she can cause that power to awaken even earlier. Thinking of this, she looks at Isla. Starting today, let's practice together at the training grounds. Just the two of us. Yes, just the two of us. Isla jumps for joy like a happy little creature, tightly clutching her hand. I am more than willing. Whatever you teach me, I will definitely study hard. The training hall deep within the academy is nearly abandoned, but it harbors a massive source of energy. When the founding emperor built this place, the materials were sourced from Mount NMU, carrying natural divine power, which helps with both cultivation and energy recovery. However, in the original novel, this training ground ultimately becomes the place where the villains corner Isla. A timid voice of the young girl echoes from behind. Levi, is it okay for me to wear this? I am sorry, I have never worn such an outfit before. Since they first met, Levi has noticed that Isla always harbors a sense of inferiority, believing she is not worthy. Thinking of how, in the original novel, everyone is so harsh and tramples upon this kind and gentle girl, Levi quietly makes up her mind. As long as she is still here, she will absolutely never let anyone bully Isla again. Levi focuses all her attention on Isla, completely unaware that not far away, Damien is observing her with a deep, contemplative gaze. This place is originally his own familiar, solitary training spot, and he does not expect to run into anyone else today. During the lesson, he notices that Levi has completely depleted her divine power. In the coming days, she probably will not even be able to use magic. Yet taking action to slay the demonic beast at that moment was the most appropriate choice. Damien cannot help but wonder. Her past arrogant and willful behavior is perhaps just a protective shell to shield herself. It is very clever, but why does she have to go to such lengths? Even after Isla departs, he remains there, watching. Levi has long exhausted her physical strength, yet she never stops swinging her wooden sword, as if something is forcing her to persist with her very life. Suddenly, Levi stumbles, her legs giving way, and Damien instinctively rushes forward. The anticipated fall does not happen. Levi raises her eyes, only to realize that she finds herself resting neatly in the arms of the first prince. Your Highness, why are you here? The close proximity instantly turns Damien's ears crimson. He quickly averts his gaze, his tone somewhat awkward. You stand up first. I am sorry, my apologies. To your Highness. Levi immediately springs up, her heart filled with doubt. Why is he here? Could it be that he is looking for Isla? She instinctively takes half a step back, her gaze carrying a hint of caution. Damien notices this. I do not know what you're thinking, but I have always trained here. Realizing she has misunderstood him, Levi bows in apology. Damien naturally changes the subject. Why do you come here to train alone? The Heron family surely has better training grounds. Levi remains silent for a moment, then slowly replies, I do not. I do not want to worry the knights and vassals of my family, nor do I want them to see my weak side. Of mine, these words stir up a deep memory. Within Damien, his late mother was the same. Even when suffering from a terminal illness, she forced herself to endure, refusing to let others. Worry at this thought, a soft corner of his heart wells up. Is there anything I can do to help? Seeing Levi's surprised expression, he continues, if you wish to clear the flawed reputation of the Heron family, relying solely on that illusion from earlier is unlikely to last long. At the very least, it will not fool those stubborn and cunning nobles. Levi does not expect Damien to see right through her, but what puzzles her even more is why he is helping her. She asks him frankly, Your Highness, I do not understand your intention in doing this. Damien turns his face away. Just consider it an apology for my rudeness during the admission ceremony the other day. I simply feel that those who strive deserve to reap the rewards of their efforts, nothing more. Such a simple answer touches Levi's heart. She smiles softly in response. Thank you for your kindness. Your Highness, this is supposed to be my secret, but knowing someone understands the sacrifices I make, from the bottom of my heart I still feel very happy. The radiant smile of the young lady leaves Damien momentarily dazed, and his gaze softens without him realizing. Do not push yourself too hard. After all, the Heron family is still the Empire's sword. After bidding farewell to Damien, the anxious heart of Levi suddenly feels a sense of relief. Perhaps this villain is not as terrible as she imagined. The original story is always told from the protagonist's perspective. To Fried and Isla, Damien is the enemy, but right now no tragedy has unfolded yet. He pursues power merely to protect himself and those who are genuinely sincere. To him, a lonely, deeply devoted soul can only force himself to become strong and perfect enough to guard the things he cherishes. She suddenly senses a kindred spirit in him. Realizing they share similar burdens, perhaps it is best to set aside her prejudices, maintain a safe distance, and quietly observe him. Unlike Levi's newfound clarity, Damien falls into a chaotic tangle of emotions. Levi's image keeps replaying in his mind, and he feels like he is losing his mind over her. Ever since her parents passed away, Isla's life is a living hell. As the sole heir, she must graduate from the academy to claim the inheritance secured in the bank. Upon learning this, her uncle's family uses their status as guardians to brazenly storm into the Lena manor. They arrogantly claim that her parents left such a will because they lacked faith in her abilities. Under the guise of taking care of her, they not only demand half the estate but also sell off most of the manor, dismiss all the servants, and banish her to a remote countryside, severing all ties with the outside world. This continues until she reaches the age of majority and must enroll at the academy as mandated by imperial law. Isla knows all too well that the moment she graduates, the blade of her uncle will be pointed straight at her throat. In her deepest despair, she even contemplates ending her own life, preferring to end her own life rather than perish at his hands. Fortunately, she meets Levi. Levi looks at Isla. Facing adversity, you must learn to strike back. The two train together for several weeks. The crisp clashing of wooden swords echoes continuously across the training grounds. Your offensive skills are already quite exceptional. Really? Of course, if you keep improving like this, it won't be long before you become a magnificent swordswoman. Every time Levi praises her with a smile, Isla is filled with joy, as if she truly possesses a limitless reservoir of strength. Though her body is utterly exhausted, her heart beats with fierce intensity. To Isla, Levi is nothing less than a savior. In a voice slightly trembling yet profoundly firm, she speaks. Levi, thank you. Without you, I fear I would still be trapped in despair. Levi notices her tear-rimmed eyes and immediately panics. Isla, why are you crying? It is nothing, just the grievances pent up for so many years suddenly burst forth. Isla sobs uncontrollably. Hearing of her plight, Levi realizes that what Her uncle's family did is far more atrocious than what is written in the novel. They placed a helpless, orphaned Isla under house arrest, hurling insults at her day after day. This endless isolation and degradation drove an innocent child into a dark abyss of self-doubt, leading her, time and time again, to contemplate taking her own life. Do not listen to their lies, Isla, back then. You were only 7 years old. They merely wanted to usurp your inheritance. Which is why they spewed such nonsense, seeing Levi so righteously indignant on her behalf. Isla cannot help but chuckle. Through her tears, I am so glad I met you. I will no longer retreat in fear. During my time at the academy, I will definitely find a way to fight back. Levi looks at her intently, her voice serious. If I can find a way to invalidate that will and help you reclaim your inheritance ahead of schedule, are you willing to take a chance? In the original story, Isla never manages to reclaim what is rightfully hers. She wanders for half her life, repeatedly walking the line between life and death until Freed appears to rescue her. In most novels, the male lead always arrives at the heroine's darkest hour, showcasing his power and deepening the bond between them, but Levi refuses to let Isla endure such hardships. Isla's face fills with utter disbelief. Is that really possible? Of course, I will help you, Levi promises, patting her chest. Her precious Isla does not deserve to suffer like this. As for her destined romance with Freed, she only needs to stand before him healthy and confident. That will be more than enough. A few days later, at Levi's request, Isla compiles all the necessary documents. She inherits her parents' brilliant business acumen. This portfolio is more than enough to prove her capabilities, serving as the ultimate bargaining chip to break the restrictions of the will and reclaim her assets ahead of time. Filled with curiosity, the young girl asks, "What?" All of this, Levi reaches out and gently pinches Isla's cheek, her eyes sparkling with mischief. It is a secret for now, just. Then the crowd around them begins to shift. It turns out the time is drawing near for the spring banquet. This is not merely a social gathering for the young nobility, but a silent battlefield where factions draw their lines. At present, the struggle for succession between the first prince and the second prince grows fiercer by the day. A quiet war of influence officially begins. Levi, have you received your invitation yet? Yes, I have 10. Even though she is labeled as the family's defective product, the prestigious reputation of the Heron family, established by her father, remains rock solid. Isla gasps in shock. 10 of them? Levi nods. Some are from the children of my father's close friends. 2 are from rising military families. Others are from knightly houses, and the rest are from acquaintances in my demonology class, even though we are hardly close. Isla mutters softly. So it is because of that class. Before this, I am the only one who knows how brightly you shine. Levi turns to look at her. What about you? Isla sighs softly. It does not matter how many invitations I receive. She reaches out to clasp Levi's hand. What matters is whether I can sit with you. Even if we are separated in the end, it is fine. I will strive to become better, to become someone worthy of you. No, I mean worthy of being your friend. There is a touch of stubborn devotion in Isla's voice as she presses Levi's hand against her own cheek. I mean to be a friend whom you cherish on the day of the spring banquet. The western gardens of the academy campus are incredibly bustling. The moment Levi and Isla step into the venue, they instantly draw the gaze of the entire crowd. Not far away, Ivan's gaze locks onto Levi, his lips curling into a mocking sneer. The G family is hailed for generations as the Empire's shield, while the Heron family is the Empire's sword. Shield and sword are meant to be inseparable, and they should be protecting the descendants of the Heron family. Yet, deep down, Ivan has no desire to follow this ancestral decree, regardless of which prince the Heron family chooses to support. He is resolved to align himself with the second prince, Freed. To him, the faction backing Freed far surpasses anything First Prince Damien can muster. The central left wing is occupied by Second Prince Freed, while the right belongs to First Prince Damien, seated in an area far from either of their camps are the despised outcasts of the Heron family, and the orphan Isla. Ivan sneers inwardly, certain that they will be ostracized by both. factions. However, as the guests stream in one by one, the situation turns out to be entirely beyond his expectations. A crowd of nobles flock toward Levi. Lady Heron, it is a pleasure to meet you. How is your health? I have been looking for an opportunity to pay my respects, and today I finally have the honor. Those who only recently looked down on the Heron family now begin to eagerly fawn over Levi. Only now does Ivan realize the truth. Levi has chosen this spot intentionally. In high society, it is customary for those of lower status to initiate conversation with their superiors. She cleverly exploits this rule, establishing a firm, neutral position where she calmly receives everyone's greetings. Given her circumstances, instead of groveling to please the elites only to be rebuffed, she welcomes goodwill from all sides. Levi effortlessly commands the room as she raises her teacup to take a sip. Her sensing ability, the innate senses within her body, suddenly catch a faint trace of demonic energy. Levi's face suddenly darkens. She immediately tells Isla to stay where she is, then dashes off alone, tracking the fluctuations of magic. The source of the demonic aura surprisingly originates from the lounge where Damien frequently rests. After confirming the presence emanating from inside the room, she reaches out and knocks on the door. "Your Highness, are you in there?" The sound of colliding tables and chairs echoes from inside the room. A moment later, Damien opens the door, the corners of his eyes tinged with a faint shade of red. "Levi Heron, why are you here?" Levi carefully weighs her words. She knows all too well how sensitive the man before her is to anything regarding demons. Rumor has it that on the day Damien was born, a vast number of demons suddenly appeared all over the Empire. The fanatical supporters of Freed often use this as an excuse to spread absurd rumors. "I sensed a fluctuation of demonic aura nearby just now, so I came to check." Damien gently frowns. "Demonic aura? Perhaps my senses are mistaken, but to be safe, I should still check. There is no need for unnecessary worry." To her surprise, Damien agrees with her. The Heron family carries the blessing of the gods within them, and their ability to perceive demonic aura is second to none. "If you have noticed," before he can finish his sentence, the surrounding air suddenly trembles violently. The dense demonic aura surges intensely as a giant, black serpent-like demon looms into view. It is a high-level demon. Levi instinctively shields Damien, a cold shiver running down her spine. A powerful premonition of danger washes over her. In the original novel, this type of demon has never appeared. She completely fails to anticipate that the villain is not only targeted by a demon ahead of schedule, but that it is also a demon of desire, the most difficult kind to handle. It is precisely at this very moment that Damien, who already harbors an obsession with Levi, begins to tread down the path of corruption. When the demon appears, Damien does not care in the slightest. Although Levi has already summoned the sword, having a prince hide behind a guardian knight is a complete reversal of roles. But as a magic swordsman, Damien never worries about such trifles. He raises his hand to channel his magic. In the blink of an eye, a vast wave of energy blankets the entire room. To survive the brutal palace intrigues, he has already reached the realm of a sword saint even before reaching adulthood. The demon lets out a miserable shriek, twisting its body frantically to struggle free from his confinement, but the entire space is sealed by his magic, leaving absolutely no way out. Yet another crisis occurs in the blink of an eye. The demon's body suddenly swells, splitting into dozens of hideous tentacles that shoot straight toward Damien. At that moment, Levi suddenly recalls a record she once read in the Heron family library. This demon can freely transform its serpent body into tentacles. They forcefully seize the vessel and gnaw at the host's soul bit by bit. The demon of desire is a species that specializes in turning humans into puppets consumed entirely by lust. As if to prove her deduction, Damien's pupils begin to lose focus as he confronts the demon. In truth, even before Levi appeared, his body has been constantly showing abnormal symptoms. From his time at the training grounds to the opening ceremony earlier, a persistent heat rising within him has been tormenting him. The more he tries to forget the sight of Levi swinging her sword during practice, the more vividly that image appears In his mind, Damien painfully buries his face in his hands. He always intentionally keeps his distance from the opposite sex, yet here he is, sinking deep into these shameful thoughts. Is it because he lacks divine power, or is his body inherently fallen, rendering him incapable of harboring divine strength? Whenever he thinks of Levi, he feels utterly wretched. She has never spoken a single flirtatious or teasing word, yet he harbors countless wild and absurd fantasies. Even as he silently blames himself, he dejectedly leans back against the sofa. In this state, he cannot possibly attend the spring outing banquet. He can only wait in the lounge until his emotions stabilize. Right at this moment, a familiar voice echoes from outside. The door. "Your Highness, are you in there?" Damien freezes, quickly standing up to tidy his clothes. But the moment his eyes meet Levi's, the fragile sanity he has painstakingly maintained wavers once more. Why is she here? Why does she always appear before him, as if constantly reminding him of that shameful desire to become an emperor? He demands extreme perfection from himself, yet cruelly he is cursed with such a body. He suddenly recalls what the professor of demonology once said: demons always cling to those who share their nature. Is this monster here because of me then? Damien's consciousness gradually blurs. "Your Highness!" Levi's call pulls him back to reality. For a brief moment, he channels his magic into his blade and charges fiercely at the demon. The longsword pierces through the demonic beast's body. Under the impact of the power, the demon explodes like an overinflated balloon. The constraint binding Damien also vanishes along with it. Levi rushes over to him. "Are you all right? Your Highness, I will call for help immediately." "Don't go," Damien stops her. "I am fine. Do not tell anyone. You should leave first." At this moment, Levi realizes Damien has been infected by the demonic aura. This is bad. She must leave right away. Levi turns to leave, but her steps suddenly freeze at the door. The barrier magic sealing the space that Damien cast has lost its effect, and he is curled up in a corner, his entire body trembling violently. The rumors associating him with demons make it impossible for him to even ask others for help. If she leaves now, will Damien succumb to corruption ahead of time? "Your Highness, I am sorry." Levi stops in her tracks. Barrier magic has lost its effect. "I cannot leave." Damien looks at her, trying to gather his scattering senses. Levi slowly steps forward. "Since I am the Empire's sword, I cannot abandon a member of the royal family in danger." Despite the storm of desire raging within his heart, Damien still instinctively backs away. "Levi Heron, you must know that my lacks divine power to resist the demonic aura. You may leave. I will absolutely not hold it against you. Do not take another step further unless you want this situation to become utterly irredeemable." He forces out each word. "Leave, that is an order." Levi stands frozen. In place, a gentle divine power gathering in her palm. "I can help purify the demonic aura for you. Perhaps it will make you feel a bit better." Damien slowly falls silent, perhaps because she inhaled some of the demonic aura earlier. Levi also feels her body beginning to heat up. She cannot help but wonder if Damien has been enduring this torment all this time. Seeing him remain silent for so long, she tentatively takes a few steps closer. "Your Highness, are you all right?" To her surprise, the next second, Damien snaps his head up, his eyes bloodshot. He reaches out and grabs her wrists, pinning her down onto the sofa with brute force. To surpass his younger brother, who was born with immense divine power, Damien always forces himself to play the role of a proud, abstinent leader. But ironically, an extraordinarily high-level demon of desire suddenly descends, and the girl he has been secretly yearning for happens to appear. He clearly gave Levi a chance to escape, yet she chose to stay. As the demonic aura continuously erodes his mind, his sanity crumbles. Everything happens so naturally. Like water following the current, a tender and passionate night unfolds. Behind closed curtains, it goes so far that when Damien wakes up, he even thinks last night was merely a vivid, erotic dream. But the marks left on his body, along with the serpent-like sigil etched onto his skin, serve as a stark reminder of what actually transpired. Meanwhile, a series of demon attacks break out at the academy. After casually dispatching several low-level demonic beasts, unable to leave Isla alone in the dormitory, Levi invites her to return to the mansion. Isla's brow is furrowed with deep worry. "Levi, are you all right?" Levi only says that she exhausted her strength fighting the demonic beasts. As for everything that happened with Damien, she must keep it strictly confidential. True to habit, Isla begins to blame herself. "You are already so tired, yet you still worry about taking care of me. I feel like I am just a burden holding you back." "Don't say that. It's hard to guarantee that no demons have slipped through the cracks in the academy. How can I feel at ease leaving you alone? Just stay here with peace of mind. I have always wanted to invite friends over as guests after all." After coaxing Isla to agree, Levi falls into deep thought. In the original novel, the rioting demons are merely low-level ones. Yet, the demon she and Damien destroyed together is an exceptionally high-level demonic beast. This stirs a vague sense of unease deep within her heart. But before they leave, Freed happens to arrive. He will surely handle the aftermath properly. Once her mind relaxes, Levi falls into a deep sleep. Isla quietly raises her right hand, a tiny, translucent flame blooming from her palm. This is the healing divine power she saw a holy knight cast not long ago. Today is the first time she is trying it herself. Her face Levi gradually relaxes, and the small scratches on her skin also heal quickly. The power that ordinary people spend a lifetime pursuing, the young girl understands with just a single glance. Furthermore, her body holds an incredibly immense source of divine power. But compared to the shock of discovering her own talent, Isla is even more delighted because from now on she can help Levi. As the Empire's sword, Levi is destined to struggle through countless battlefields while she is willing to become Levi's most solid support. "Good night, Levi. Wish you a beautiful dream." The next day, when Levi wakes up, the clock points to nearly 5:00 a.m. Usually before dawn breaks, she is already up practicing her swordplay. The maid, seeing her rarely sleeping in for a bit, cannot help but speak with deep concern. A touch of guilt rises within Levi, so she plays along with her, then sends the maid to call Isla to dine with her. She yellow-handedly picks up a blue candy and pops it into her mouth. The magic of this world is already applied to daily life. With just a single piece of candy, one can achieve the effect of contraception. The front page of the newspaper carries news of the Academy attack, praising the second Prince Freed to the skies for leading the knights to bravely fight the enemy, while intentionally dragging down the eldest Prince Damien for arriving late. Every single word reeks of factional rivalry. However, there is absolutely no mention of that high-level demon in the paper. Damien has likely blocked the information. After washing up, she steps out into the flower garden. Isla is already sitting there. "Did you sleep well?" Levi smiles and sits down. "Very peacefully. Oh, right, I have good news to tell you. Your inheritance is about to return to its rightful owner." Levi files a lawsuit on Isla's behalf under the name of the Heron family to reclaim the inheritance. She sends people to gather evidence, proving that Isla's uncle, as her guardian, is negligent and illegally appropriates her property, while also proving that Isla is completely capable of taking over her family business. Now, the case is nearing its end, and they will win the lawsuit in less than a week. Astonishment and emotion intertwine, causing Isla's body to tremble slightly. Without waiting for her to say thank you, Levi stuffs a piece of sweet pastry into the girl's mouth. "No need to thank me. Before all the procedures are fully completed, you can peacefully live here without feeling guilty. Remember what I once said, being able to invite my best friend to live with me is my wish after all." Isla's heart is warmed by these words. "Of course I remember. I will never forget." Levi excitedly paints a vision of the future. In the future, we can go on picnics and shopping together, and in our spare time share girl talk. Her words suddenly catch in her throat as a strange sensation abruptly washes over her. "Isla, what is wrong with you?" The girl looks up, wearing an extremely gentle smile. "Whatever we do is fine. As long as I can be by your side, I am already deeply content." After the demon incident, Freed personally leads a squad to patrol around the academy every day. He always sends the knights whose shifts are over to rest first, while he himself stays behind to double-check. The knights under his command are full of admiration, praising him endlessly for not only having powerful divine power but also possessing noble character. Fried suddenly turns and asks, "Is the dormitory fully repaired?" "Yes, it is. Thanks to Lady Heron keeping Lady Lena at her mansion, the restoration work of the dormitory is accelerated." Fried nods slightly. "When I am free, I must invite Lady Heron for a cup of tea to express my gratitude." "Commander, you must be careful. Isn't that lady your crazy pursuer?" "Do not talk nonsense." Fried smiles and stops them. Making a joke out of a young lady like this is highly disrespectful. Indeed, after his subordinates dismiss, he continues his meticulous patrol. That day, he clearly senses a highly overbearing demonic energy, yet searching for several days yields no trace. Could it be his own hallucination? A bitter muttering full of malice reaches his ears. "Damn it, everything of mine is ruined. It is all because of that brat Isla and that busybody from the Heron family." A carriage slowly comes to a halt, and the speaker freezes, his face instantly turning ferocious, fiercely rushing straight at the newcomer. "Levi Heron, I will absolutely never let you off." But before he can get close, he is swiftly subdued by Fried. He twists the man's wrist back and the dagger clatters to the ground. Daring to hold a knife and commit assault inside the academy, Fried looks towards Levi, his emerald eyes filled with concern. "Lady Levi Heron, are you unhurt?" Levi bows in gratitude, feeling slightly surprised. She expects Isla's uncle to seek revenge, but she does not expect to run into Fried here. "It seems you are very surprised to see me." "Me too, long time no see," Levi says. Isla steps down from the carriage, her face filled with shock. Once she clearly sees the sharp blade on the ground, she snaps out of it and rushes in front of Levi. "Are you hurt?" "I am fine." Thanks to the second prince's timely intervention, Levi praises Fried. Just as Isla is about to explain that this man is her uncle and is here because of the inheritance dispute, Russ suddenly goes wild. "Isla, what kind of attitude is this? Someone like you dares to make friends? What are you acting all high and mighty for?" Isla clenches her fists in silence. But Russ grows even more frenzied. "I see your parents foresaw long ago that you would be deceived by others. Sure enough, it must be that useless girl who instigated you to fight for the assets. She is fundamentally scheming." A loud slap rings out, ending Russ's insane insults. He is slapped so hard that he stumbles and rolls on the ground. Fried watches the scene before him with great interest. In the enveloping silence, Isla clearly enunciates every single word. "You are not allowed to insult my friend." The people around stare in a daze, whispering. It turns out that flying into such a rage is to show her power to protect Levi. It seems this young lady is not as easy to provoke as she looks. In the future, whoever dares to touch Levi, Isla will definitely be the first to not let them off. Fried does not just stand and watch either. He immediately calls the guards and gives orders. This old man not only attacks Levi, but also dares to act in front of a prince. Crime upon crime, he must be dealt with severely according to the rules. Russ is completely finished this time. As the guards drag him away, he understands better than anyone. For the rest of his life, he will likely count prison bars. This is the consequence of touching someone he should not touch. But does this matter really? And just like that, even on the verge of ruin, the old man Russ still keeps his eyes on his pile of money. He struggles and screams. If he is captured, his entire wealth will vanish into thin air, just as he plans to take advantage of the chaos to escape. Hand grabs him tightly. Russ screams in anger, "Let me go!" Consequently, before he can take 2 steps, he falls face first onto the ground. Even his self-defense dagger clatters to the side. This time he is truly out of options. Fried coldly looks at him, trying to run towards the Imperial Palace. "I think you should stop dreaming." Russ does not even have time to scream before a surge of force pins him firmly to the ground. Now, let alone running. Moving a single finger is a luxury. It seems this time Damien truly harbors killing intent. Crushed under this force, Russ does not even have the strength to call for help. Left, Fried smiles and turns around, his greeting coming out naturally. "Long time no see, Damien." The moment these two meet, the atmosphere Instantly changes. Levi calls out from behind. Until her throat is dry, "Damien, why are you here?" Damien has no mind for catching up. He walks straight towards Russ, who is splayed on the ground. Ambushing a noble's carriage, committing violence in front of the second prince, and even intending to break into the imperial palace, with all these crimes compounded. Russ will find it hard to escape today even if he grows wings. Damien stares at him and says flatly, "Treason against the imperial family, that crime." Demands immediate beheading on the spot. After all, Fried is the one who caught him. Damien does not bother with words, leaving the subsequent interrogation entirely to him. Fried, on the other hand, is very polite and says with a smile, "It is all thanks to Damien." Then he turns, intending to take Isla and Levi to give their statements. Seeing them about to be taken away, Damien suddenly speaks up to stop him. "Wait, this matter is not over yet. An ambush on the Empire's sword is no small matter that can be casually dismissed by just taking her for questioning." Damien steps forward to shield Levi, his attitude clear. "Levi, I will personally escort you." Fried stares at him for a long time without a word, then unexpectedly he smiles gently. This concession is far too decisive. Fried tells Damien to take good care of her, then turns to take Isla and Russ away, not forgetting to say goodbye to Levi. Levi is completely dumbfounded at this moment, watching blankly as her lifeline moves further away, screaming in despair in her heart. "Don't go. Someone save me." Damien coldly calls her name. "Levi Heron, let us speak privately for a moment." This sentence frightens Levi out of her wits. The scene shifts, and Levi is brought into a room. She sits on the sofa, her mind in a complete tangle. Why is she suddenly brought here? Watching Damien approach step by step, Levi is so nervous she does not know where to put her hands. A thought flashes through her mind. Could he remember everything that happened that day? Damien sees right through Levi's anxiety and offers her reassurance. "Don't worry, I am not looking for you for personal grudges." Levi becomes even more bewildered. If it is not a personal matter, then why does he seek her out? Damien hesitates for a moment, and his next words are indeed embarrassing. "I want to ask a bit about the snake on the lower half of my body." "Ah, no, the dragon." Levi is completely petrified. Snake and dragon, this topic is taking a wildly sharp turn. Is he talking about asterisk, that asterisk place? And he even goes out of his way to correct it to a dragon? Just where does this man get this kind of confidence? Seeing that Levi does not react for a while, Damien clears his throat. "Why are you silent? Let me remind you, I remember everything from that day without a single detail missing, so do not even think about playing tricks." With Damien putting it so bluntly, Levi cannot deny it even if she wants to. She coughs awkwardly twice and has to bite the bullet and admit it. "I remember too. After all, that dragon is indeed unforgettable." Upon hearing this, Damien actually believes her completely and asks further, "Really?" Before Levi can even gather her wits, Damien's next request makes her want to dig a hole to bury herself in. "Then describe it to me." Levi is dumbfounded. What? How can she possibly describe that? Yet Damien maintains an extremely serious expression. He wants to confirm whether Levi truly saw that thing. According to her memory, what does it look like, and what is her feeling at that time? Levi secretly curses him in her heart 1,000 times over. This man is definitely an incurable pervert. All her previous efforts to change her perspective of him are in vain. Since things have come to this, Levi has no choice but to resign herself to it, covering her face and whispering, "Fine, first of all, I think calling it a dragon is reasonable. After all, that size is indeed very large." Damien actually nods in agreement. Levi goes crazy in her heart. This madman, is this really something to nod and acknowledge? She has to grit her teeth and continue to make things up. "To be honest, I am completely stunned at that time, unable to utter a single word." Damien appears very understanding. "This is also normal. Indeed, the first time I see it, I am also startled. Only now does the truth come to light. It turns out Damien is not trying to play the rogue at all. He merely tests whether Levi truly sees that brand mark. If Levi does see it, can she feel the demonic aura radiating from it? If she can, then there is grave trouble. Damien adds another question. "So when you see it, what does your heart feel?" One must know that not everyone can see such a thing. Even Douglas and Freed previously failed to notice anything unusual. Levi's heron family naturally possesses senses as sharp as a wild beast toward this kind of energy, so it is not surprising that she can perceive it. But Levi's next answer leaves Damien utterly speechless. You probably already know, actually that feeling is actually quite comfortable. This time, it is Damien's turn to stand dazed. He does not expect to receive such an answer. Comfortable. In all his years, this is the first time he hears that this highly destructive demonic aura can make someone feel comfortable. Is Levi's constitution truly that special, or is something wrong with this power source? Damien is completely bewildered. Logically, the demonic aura only causes discomfort, but Levi's current expression does not look right at all. Finally unable to contain herself, Levi whirls around and raises her voice. What on earth are you talking about? Didn't you ask me how I felt? Damien also grows flustered. I asked you to describe your perception. Who wants you to describe my body? Levi retorts, brimming with righteous indignation. Is it not the same thing? You asked me how I felt upon seeing your dragon. What is wrong with telling the truth? Looking at Levi's deadpan, serious face, Damien finally realizes, all this time the two are not even on the same wavelength. He quickly tries to clarify, no, I absolutely do not mean that. Damien is truly anxious this time. To prove his innocence, he reaches out and unbuttons his shirt. Levi, never having faced such a situation, shrinks back in fear and gasps, Your Highness, what do you think you are doing? Damien has no intention of stopping. He unfastens his shirt while urging, look closely. Levi is completely petrified. Why is he suddenly taking off his clothes in broad daylight? Just as she is on the verge of a breakdown, Damien pulls aside his shirt and points to the purple brand mark on his waist. This is what I am asking about, he says. Only now does the truth unfold. It turns out that what Damien is so concerned about is this dragon-shaped demonic sigil. Levi stands in a daze for a long moment before she finally reacts. They have been talking at cross purposes this entire time. Staring at the eerie brand mark, she cannot help but ask, Heavens, Your Highness, what on earth is this? Only now does Damien realize that Levi has never even seen this brand mark before. Then what is she stammering about earlier? And what kind of messy thoughts run through her head? As he adjusts his clothes, he explains that this brand mark appears after the incident that day. He originally hopes Levi can discern some clue, but she is completely clueless, making the atmosphere even more awkward. Levi wishes she could sink through the floor. This misunderstanding is truly unprecedented. She quickly changes the subject, suggesting that this might be a lingering effect left by the demon. After all, the situation is chaotic then, so who can say for sure what happened? Damien, however, feels that the matter is not so simple. By right, as the heir of the Heron family, Levi should be the most sensitive to demonic aura. Yet she notices nothing at all. Levi asks back, Does Your Highness feel it yourself? Damien remains silent for a moment before replying with a brief, occasionally. Levi cannot help but press further. What does this demonic aura actually feel like? Damien frankly replies, It is exactly what is in your head right now. Once this demonic aura flares up, the body burns inexplicably, just like when I am attacked by the demon that day. He gazes at Levi. So you must take responsibility for helping me remove this. Levi stands stunned, pointing at her own nose, unable to react for a long moment. What? Why do you come to me for this? Damien approaches step by step, his tone growing firm. What do you intend to refuse? He corners Levi against the wall, emphasizing every word. Do not forget that the Heron family is the sharpest sword of the imperial family. Damien leans down, his gaze heavy with oppression. You do not intend to idle by and watch, do you? You would not leave a prince who is attacked by a demon to his fate, would you? Levi has no choice but to grit her teeth and agree, promising to keep the secret and help him restore his body. Seeing her yield, Damien generously asks what kind of compensation she wishes for. The little calculator in Levi's mind begins to click. In the original novel, the women who love Damien can form a long line. For the sake of her own life and Isla's, she absolutely cannot let these troubles knock on her door. She sets rules with Damien directly. Until the brand mark completely disappears, they must maintain their current status, and neither can seek romantic dalliances outside. Damien hears this and with a teasing tone, asks if she is afraid of being targeted by jealous women. Levi quickly explains, I do this entirely to protect Isla. Damien agrees readily, fine, I have no interest in romance anyway. Levi thinks to herself, that is perfect. As long as you do not act recklessly, everyone is spared. But who expects that? Damien turns his hand and pulls out a piece of paper. Looking closely, Levi sees it is a magic array contract. It seems Damien is completely serious, with black ink on white paper clearly stating that Levi must help him remove that demonic brand mark. And before the task is done, this matter must absolutely not be leaked. But who expects that Damien would add, if my demonic aura loses control and I turn into a wild beast, Levi must also take responsibility for handling it. Levi explodes. What do you mean? Does that mean every time you flare up, I have to sleep with you? Damien does not bother to explain, directly declaring that the contract is already in effect. Looking at his highly confident expression, Levi knows she is truly trapped this time. Damien calling her name sends a shiver down her spine. The power of the contract immediately takes effect. Now, even if she wants to back out, there is no chance. She accepts her fate and officially becomes the partner of Damien. The scene shifts to the palace study. Fried is busy settling old scores. He stares at Russ, his tone heavy with oppression. It turns out the reason the Heron carriage is ambushed is because they helped Isla resolve a dispute lawsuit. How ridiculous this reason sounds. Russ is terrified, begging for mercy repeatedly and claiming he was possessed by evil spirits at the time. Fried does not bother to listen to his nonsense. He directly places his sword against Russ's neck. Fried says coldly, forgiveness is for good people who make mistakes. You not only exploit your own biological niece, but also want to kill her friend. A person like you does not deserve clemency. Right at this moment, Isla happens to be standing outside the door, catching every single word. Now there is trouble. Everyone says the second Prince Fried is the gentlest soul. Hearing the commotion inside, Isla never dreams he can have such a ruthless side. Fried, highly vigilant inside the room, hears his attendant whisper in his ear and immediately detects some outsider. Instinctively thinking it is Levi, his tone changes instantly as he orders his men to quickly open the door. The moment the door opens, Fried greets her with a smile. Levi relates the details of the ambush. Fried hears this without much reaction. Instead, he grows curious about who she traveled all this way for. Levi's gaze shifts to Isla, her heart understanding. She politely expresses that she came specifically to thank His Highness for saving her life. As a result, Fried's next words are seamless. He says it is a knight's duty and even blames himself, saying his failure to protect her perfectly is due to his own shortcomings. Fried's words place him on the high ground of the royal family, using the situation to give Levi an elegant way down, saying that Levi owes him a favor before inviting her to sit and converse. This debt of gratitude is not easily repaid. This time, Levi cannot refuse even if she wants to. The moment Levi sits, Fried begins to probe. He assumes Levi must feel aggrieved. With her personality, she must have already prepared to counter that ambush. Levi, however, remains remarkably calm. She says it is actually nothing, only if Isla's uncle had actually made his move back then, the subsequent matters would have been much simpler. The implication in her words is incredibly profound. What is Levi planning? Fried puts on a generous front, telling them not to worry. He deliberately emphasizes that Russ's action today is entirely his own doing and will absolutely not involve Isla. Levi politely offers her thanks, but Isla beside her sees through him as clear as day. This second prince is a two-faced hypocrite from head to toe. Fried plays his part flawlessly, advising Isla to rest early since she just suffers a fright. But the gentler he acts, the more Isla feels this man is unfathomably deep. Levi also senses the unusual atmosphere and whispers, "What is wrong with Isla? This is trouble indeed. How can Isla warn Levi that the man before her is actually extremely dangerous?" Time flies, and Levi smoothly adjusts to academy life. Late at night, she is still diligently studying strange documents in her room. While she is engrossed, a knock sounds. The maid outside reports, "Young Miss Levi, the Lord Count's reply has arrived." Levi quickly puts down her work, this letter. She has been waiting for a long time. It is a bit hard to believe her father actually wrote. Opening it, she finds countless caring words from her father. The very first line is, "My dearest daughter Levi, congratulations on passing into the academy." It seems the Count is in a faraway territory, though he is not. By her side, his heart always turns toward his daughter, forever caring if her academy life is happy. In the letter, the Count repeatedly urges that though Levi's health is better, she must not overwork. Currently, he is on a mission in a wretched place where magic cannot be used. So he cannot see his daughter or hear her voice. These days are like pure torture to him. Even more unbelievably, this letter takes a whole month to reach Levi. The Count frankly expresses in his letter that he wants to return home, wishing to hasten back to talk and train with his daughter. Looking at the letter in her hand, Levi's heart grows incredibly warm. She cannot help but sigh, "My father is exaggerating." Truly, this feeling of being cradled in the palm of her family's hand is something Levi experiences for the first time in her 2 lifetimes combined. This unexpected happiness makes her a little flustered. In his letter, the Count praises Levi to the skies, calling her the most beautiful girl in the entire empire. No, the entire continent is more accurate, although Levi finds her father's doting filter a bit too much in her heart. She is still happy as a blooming flower. However, the Count's next words suddenly shift tone. He repeatedly warns Levi that she must stay away from those men outside. Any bastard who dares to harbor ill intentions toward her will never be forgiven, just as Levi thinks. This is merely a normal family letter. The end of it mentions a secret she has never heard of. The Heron family actually possesses a secret library, and only the family heir has the right to know of it. How can Levi sit still now? She raises her voice to call Wallen. Wallen is startled by her shout and scurries over. "Young miss, what is the matter?" Levi gets straight to the point. "I want to go to that secret library right now. No delays, we will see what is hidden there." Wallen leads Levi to a fireplace, points forward, and says, "It is right here. This fireplace is the entrance to the library." Levi is astonished. "Is that all? Isn't this just a normal fireplace?" Wallen explains further. "As long as the air infuses mana into it, the hidden teleportation array will open." He bows, making an inviting gesture. "Young miss, do you want to try it yourself? What kind of treasure is the secret of the Heron family, passed down for 600 years that must be hidden so carefully?" Levi does not hesitate any longer and directly reaches out her hand. The moment Levi's hand touches it, the gemstone suddenly glows brilliantly. This magical reaction is stronger than anyone can imagine. This light bursts forth, and the 6-year secret of the Heron family is finally about to be revealed. Standing nearby, Wallen is overcome with excitement. To witness this moment with his own eyes is truly an honor. "I must report today's events in detail to the master," seeing him lose his composure. Like this, Levi smiles and comforts him. All right, there is no need to cry." Wallen bows from behind, wishing her a safe journey. A light flashes and Levi is sucked inside. By the time she regains her senses, the surrounding scenery is completely changed. Levi is still a little dazed. Did she make it in? Who would expect that behind this fireplace lies hidden such a vast space? This is no library. This is clearly another world. This place is unbelievably vast, and with every step she feels an extraordinary aura. If this place is hidden so well, surely there is no shortage of records about demons. After all, she is currently investigating the brand mark on Damien's body. This time all clues can converge here. Levi grows enthusiastic. Without a second word, she dives into her search, determined to turn this place upside down. She casually finds a spot to sit down. Whether she can find useful information depends entirely on her upcoming discoveries. Levi flips open an old book which records a strange event from the 457th year of the Empire. A demon sneaks into a prison, intending to forcibly possess a death row prisoner. Just as the demon is about to succeed, it is suddenly attacked. Consequently, the possession fails instead. A strange brand mark appears on the prisoner. The more Levi reads, the more she finds it amiss. How is the illustration in the book identical to the brand mark on Damien? No, Damien's brand mark is clearly more complex and larger. It seems that as long as the demon's possession is interrupted and cannot be fully completed, it leaves behind this kind of brand mark. In other words, what on earth does Damien experience back then, if the brand mark is a part of the demon? Then that demon from back then is certainly not completely dead. Levi can no longer sit still, having this thing on his body is like a ticking time bomb. How on earth can it be removed? Turning the page, she finally finds a clue. The book states that as long as one soaks the body in diluted holy water, that wretched brand mark disappears, and the demon is completely destroyed along with it. It seems there is a way to save him, but is it really that simple? The book says one must soak in holy water, and an image immediately flashes in Levi's mind. That is far too stimulating. That image is so alluring that even she cannot resist it. She quickly shakes her head to clear her mind. Now is not the time for wild thoughts. Serious matters are more important. The key issue is that holy water is not easy to obtain. The method from a book written 200 years ago, when applied to the present, is basically a dead end, because holy water is now completely monopolized by the holy temple. Levi inquires if there is any way to obtain some holy water, but the moment he opens his mouth, he crushes her hopes. Wanting to take something from the hands of the holy temple, daydream on. Damien helplessly lays his cards on the table. Holy water is the ultimate treasure of the central holy temple, in the entire world only 3 priests are permitted to touch it. What is even more fatal is that all 3 of them harbor a deep grudge against him. Wanting to go through official channels to request the medicine is absolutely impossible. Hearing this, Levi's heart turns half cold. It seems the method in the book fails before it can even be attempted. Just then Damien suddenly changes the subject, saying, "It is not entirely hopeless. Soon it is the goddess's birth week, and a hunting competition will be held. According to the intelligence he has, the grand prize this year happens to be a small vial of that holy water." Levi sees a glimmer of hope. As long as they win first place, the brand mark on Damien can be cured. However, in a competition of this level, wanting to take the championship is no easy feat. Damien bluntly declares that this time he must win first place, but the championship is not so easy to grasp. The 2 princes are both top experts. In a head-on clash, there is basically no chance of winning. Fortunately, this competition is held in a 2-person team format, and the outdoor environment has many variables which can be considered a chance, but Levi feels even more dejected upon hearing this. She is the infamous bottom ranker in the academy. No matter who she pairs with, she only drags them down. Just as she is about to lose heart, a spark of inspiration flashes in her mind. If a head-on battle is impossible, can they use other tricks? Levi comes up with an idea, telling Damien to team up with the 2nd prince. The moment these words are spoken, Damien almost jumps out of his chair. Forcing him to ally with that guy is truly the biggest joke in the world. Actually, Damien has his own calculations. There is only 1 small vial of holy water in total. If he truly pairs up with the 2nd prince, victory is guaranteed. But when the time comes, how does he explain wanting to take the holy water? What if that guy spots any flaws and exposes all his secrets? In the end, Levi interrupts and says bluntly, "The 2 of you absolutely must not win, because I have first place in the bag this time." The moment these words are spoken, Damien is completely dumbfounded. A bottom-ranking student boldly claiming to win the hunting competition. Where on earth does this confidence come from? With a look of disdain, Damien thinks that with her stamina, she gasps for breath after walking 2 steps, so where does she get the confidence to claim first place? Levi is not flustered at all, telling him to just listen to her plan. After a secret discussion, Damien listens and nods repeatedly. This idea is indeed insidious enough, yet highly effective. Even so, Damien is still a little worried. He asks Levi, "I am going to set traps to trip up the 2nd prince. Can you really bear it? After all, everyone in the academy knows about your past feelings for him." Levi is very open-minded. Since I have promised to help you first, I will certainly do what I say. This straightforward declaration from Levi makes it impossible for Damien to defend himself. With an incredibly serious expression, she says, "To me, you are the most important person." In reality, deep down, Levi is thinking that once this matter is resolved, she can quickly rid herself of these troubles. But how can Damien know any of that? His entire body freezes, his mind in a jumble, and his heart beats wildly out of any rhythm. This is a feeling he has never experienced before. What on earth is happening to him? The footsteps sound unusual. Douglas at this moment keeps muttering in his heart that this situation is not good at all. He notices his Master Damien seems to have become a different person lately. One must know that Damien was never like this before. Having no support since childhood, he survives that deadly power struggle entirely by relying on his own toughness. To prevent anyone from finding his weakness, he forces himself to be a perfectionist, never leaving any loopholes in his work. Who would have thought that cold persistence is now beginning to waver? The Damien of the past is always as tense as a bowstring, fearing even the slightest mistake, but his state lately is truly like someone who has lost his soul. Douglas even wonders if his days at the academy are too suffocating, causing his master to become like this. He knocks on the door, intending to discuss the antique market matter mentioned earlier, but the moment the door is pushed open, Douglas is completely dumbstruck. In Damien's room, a man who is usually always alone, there is actually a woman hidden, and what is more, it is Levi. This matter is truly a sensation. Damien's current appearance, to put it bluntly, has love-struck written all over his face. Douglas, standing nearby, sees it crystal clear. Is this really still that cold master? More remarkably, Douglas finds out that Levi actually has an ambiguous relationship with the lord of the estate, making the situation even more complicated. Douglas secretly chuckles. Could it be that his master has finally opened his eyes to love? Being stared at, Damien feels uncomfortable all over. He quickly coughs twice to cover up his embarrassment, saying they will meet again at the martial arts tournament, clearly wanting to quickly escape the scene. Levi maintains a calm expression, politely seeing them off, but Douglas is somewhat reluctant to leave. He has not seen enough of his master's amusing side. He quickly steps forward to chat, asking Damien why he is in such a hurry, and even suggesting that Levi stay a little longer. Douglas is truly a bystander who loves a good drama. The mouth of Douglas truly has no breaks. Before leaving, he does not forget to flatter Levi, telling her to visit more often. To play, Levi is also very polite, casually agreeing, but Damien's face is so dark it is about to drip ink. Before they even step out, his own subordinate is already making decisions on his behalf. The moment the door closes, Douglas gets even more bold. He actually turns around and gives a thumbs up to Damien, his eyes clearly claiming credit. This time Damien truly cannot hold back anymore, his voice ice cold. "Douglas, what on earth are you up to?" "Just kidding, there is still serious business to attend to." The two return to the study, and Damien tells Douglas to continue the unfinished report from earlier. Douglas also drops his playful attitude and begins reporting on the situation he discovered at the antique market. Douglas looks troubled, saying that finding the necklace will probably take more time. Damien cannot sit still and directly demands to know what happened. It is not that Douglas does not make an effort, but it happens to be the festival season lately. The merchants in the market wish they could change their inventory 8 times a day. Trying to find something in this mess is truly like finding a needle in a haystack. Damien does not care about those difficulties. He only gives a firm command, demanding that it must be found as soon as possible. It seems that necklace has an extremely special meaning to him, to the point where he must have it at all costs, paying any price without regret. Douglas understands in his heart, it seems the rumors are true. This necklace is indeed prepared for that person. Douglas's mouth truly cannot stay quiet. He speaks aloud Damien's innermost thoughts. Anyone can tell this necklace is meant for a girl, truly a perfect token of love. Damien can no longer sit still and quickly finds an excuse. That is the goddess's sacred relic. How can it be casually gifted to someone else? To prove that he is single-mindedly devoted to his career, he even utters harsh words. Before I ascend the imperial throne, I will absolutely not let any romance distract me. But Douglas does not fall for it at all. On the contrary, he sees his master is embarrassed, fantasizing on his own and even praising Damien for being a romantic. That's it. The more Damien explains, the more it seems like a cover-up. Douglas already determines that his master is deeply in love. Douglas's flattery skills are truly second to none. He says if he were a girl, receiving this necklace would surely steal his soul away. That treasure is indeed beautiful, no wonder Damien insists on obtaining it. A few days fly by and Levi drags Isla out to the streets. Isla, what do you think? Do you like it? Isla smiles and says, I truly like this place. Living for so many years, this is the first time she gets to stay in a house registered under her own name. Isla not only wins the lawsuit against the bank, but also successfully reclaims the entire inheritance that her sinister uncle intends to swallow whole. Who would think this amount of money actually turns out to be more than 50 years of revenue for the Heron family? This is not just reclaiming an inheritance, this is literally stepping into becoming a top wealthy lady in one single step. Levi, watching from the side, is absolutely dazzled. Is this the wealth of a great merchant? Honestly, who doesn't turn green with envy upon seeing this? Seeing Isla finally overcome her hardships, Levi's heart is filled with a myriad of emotions. She pats Isla's head and says, You have worked so hard recently. To be completely free from that sinister uncle is indeed better than anything. Hearing these words, Isla cannot control herself anymore and tightly hugs Levi. It is all thanks to you. Even though she now has a large house of her own, thinking about having to move out of the Heron house, she still feels an indescribable feeling. After all, having stayed for so long, this attachment is not something that can be severed instantly. Levi thinks for a moment, feeling that since the new house still needs cleaning and new servants need to be hired, why not have Isla stay at her house for another month? Hearing this, Isla instantly perks up. Can I really stay a bit longer? Levi smiles comfortingly. There is no rush in this matter. It is better to take things slow than to ruin it. Exceedingly joyful, Isla tightly holds Levi's hand and suggests, if that is the case, Levi, let's go on a date today. A date? Levi clearly fails to react in time. Why does she suddenly bring this up? No sooner said than done. Isla takes Levi straight to the most luxurious restaurant in the city. Gazing at the banquet table laden with exquisite dishes, Levi is completely dazed, unable to help but ask, How did you find this place? Isla smiles and replies that because this is the place Levi always wants to visit, she has kept it close to her heart for a long time. Levi eats while feeling anxious. This meal must cost a fortune, doesn't it? Isla, however, is very generous, as long as Levi eats happily. This pocket change is nothing to her now. Once they eat and drink their fill, the day is far from over. Isla drags Levi into a clothing store, insisting that she try on some new outfits. Unable to refuse, Levi obediently slips into the fitting room. When Levi steps out, she looks as though she is radiating light. She asks somewhat shyly, Isla, how do I look in this? Isla stares in a daze, her eyes glued to Levi without tearing away for a long moment. This appearance is truly beautiful. Beyond words. Who could guess that Isla's first words upon coming to her senses are to demand the store staff pack up every single custom-designed outfit in the entire section, along with all the matching accessories. Isla points to the handbags nearby. I will take all of these as well. Go ahead and rip off the price tags. Levi stands beside her, powerless to stop it. This is no longer shopping, this is an outright looting spree. But Isla suddenly stops and turns around, her tone incredibly serious. How can these few items ever be enough? They cannot possibly express the depth of my feelings for you. The moment these words escape her lips, Levi is completely tongue-tied. How did the atmosphere suddenly change so drastically? It does not end there. Isla's next words are the ones that truly leave her defenseless. Isla looks at Levi, her voice laced with stubborn possessiveness. From now on, I want you to wear only the things I give you from head to toe. This is no mere gift-giving, this is clearly declaring ownership. This time, Levi has nowhere to run. If she is not careful, she might just end up as Isla's exclusive possession. Though the tone sounds affectionate, a wave of apprehension rises in Levi's chest. What is this familiar, suffocating pressure? Isla points to the neighboring boutique and asks, "Shall we go over there and take a look?" With no way to decline, Levi can only obediently carry the bags and follow. Just as Levi, laden with bags, passes by a glass display case, a brilliant flash catches her eyes. She halts, peering closer. The items showcased inside do not seem ordinary at all. Levi pauses, her gaze fixed on the notice board. It turns out to be a special auction for the goddess's Yule Week, and it seems they are hosting it again this year. Levi silently calculates. After all, she needs to prepare some equipment for the upcoming hunting competition, but that is not the most crucial matter. The most critical part is the world-shaking secret hidden inside this auction house. Who could ever guess that in its darkest, most shadowed corner, a living soul is actually locked away? While Levi is lost in thought staring at the board, Isla's voice calls out from behind. "Levi, what are you doing over there?" Startled, Levi quickly composes herself. Isla approaches and asks, "Is there something there?" Terrified of raising suspicion, Levi quickly scrambles for an excuse. "No, it's nothing. I just think that necklace is exceptionally beautiful," to keep Isla from growing suspicious. Levi casually points at the display case. In response, Isla takes it seriously and leans in closer to inspect it. The pink gemstone on the necklace is indeed captivating. Isla cannot help but gasp, "Wow, it truly is exquisite." Looking at the sparkling jewel, a memory seems to spark in Isla. She stares at the gem for a long moment, then suddenly exclaims that its color is identical to Levi's eyes. Time flies by like a fleeting shadow, and in the blink of an eye, late night arrives. Wallen stands outside the door and softly reminds her, "Young miss, the carriage is here." Levi responds, saying she is fully prepared. She changes into simple, practical attire, purposely donning a spacious cloak, slipping out in the dead of night. It seems she is utterly resolved to make a trip to that auction house. Before departing, Levi does not forget to ask, "Where is Isla?" Wallen explains that she must be exhausted from the day's activities, as she falls into a deep sleep right after dinner. Even though everything at home is properly arranged, Wallen's heart still beats like a frantic drum. Going to the black market all alone in the dead of night is far too dangerous. If you need to purchase something, you can simply send a servant to make the trip. Levi, however, does not think so. She smiles softly. "I must personally inspect the items for the hunting competition." Seeing Wallen still hesitate, Levi quickly offers him a reassuring word. "Do not worry, I will return shortly. Remember, under no circumstances must you let Isla find out about this." With her instructions laid out, Levi turns and plunges straight into the night. This journey to the black market is destined to be anything but smooth. The carriage sways before grinding to a halt. The coachman lowers his voice to whisper, "Young miss, we are here." Levi scans the area before her. Is this the legendary black market? Though the lanterns shine brightly, she cannot help but feel a sinister aura exuding from this place. To avoid drawing attention, Levi instructs the coachman to wait in place. She plans to walk the rest of the way alone. Checking her map, she murmurs to herself as she walks, thinking the entrance must be around here, but searching for a doorway in the pitch black is no easy task. Right at that moment, a sudden rustle sounds behind her. Levi freezes. Could she have been targeted so quickly? Sure enough, two rough-looking men step forward to corner her. The leader even puts on a pompous, gentlemanly act, asking, "Why is such a lovely young lady wandering all by herself in a place like this?" Levi knows exactly what is going on. Aren't these merely hoodlums who prey on defenseless women? The man continues to spew sweet, oily words, claiming this place is too dangerous while insisting on playing her protector. Levi does not even bother to look up, flatly throwing out a cold reply, "No need." Seeing that they still intend to harass her, Levi decides to show her hand. She directly draws the longsword at her waist. "I do know how to wield a sword." Levi's swift draw strikes instant terror into the thugs, sending them scrambling and running for their lives. Though the trouble is resolved, Levi's mind refuses to settle. Staring into the deep gloom, her thoughts are suddenly flooded with images of Damien, especially his signature black hair, and those dark eyes that are always locked intently on her. What a nightmare. Why am I thinking of that man at a time like this? Levi feels completely out of sorts. She quickly pulls her hood lower, attempting to banish those ridiculous thoughts. Surely that demon must have cast some sort of curse on her. Otherwise, why does he linger so persistently in her mind? At this very moment, Levi grumbles inwardly. Although Damien is rather exasperating, there is no denying that his face is absolutely her cup of tea. Now look what has happened. Before she can even attend to business, half of her soul is already stolen away. Fortunately, Levi does not lose sight of her main goal as she plunges into the bustling black market crowd. Suspicious figures cloaked in heavy robes are everywhere, and no one can recognize anyone else. It is perfect for her to conceal her identity. Levi halts before a stall, her movements swift and efficient as she selects exactly what she needs. In a place like this, speed is of the essence. With her goods secured, Levi does not wish to stay for another second. She pulls her hood down further and turns to vanish into the crowd. Having achieved her goal, there is no reason to waste any more time here. Yet she has no idea whether this trip to the black market will truly end so smoothly. Having finished her shopping, Levi is still not ready to call it a night. Her next target is that secret auction house. Looking at the heavily guarded entrance ahead, she is certain that it is the place she seeks. But before she can slip inside, a massive hand blocks her path. This time, passing through will not be easy. The guard glares at Levi with watchful suspicion. "What are you here for?" Faced with this interrogation, Levi does not panic in the slightest. She calmly replies with the password, seeking a gold-plated iron horseshoe fit for a white stallion. The moment she speaks the words, the guard steps aside to let her pass. However, before she walks through, he does not forget to jeer, warning her that the goods inside are not for the faint of heart, telling her to be careful lest she flees in sheer terror. Levi does not pay him any mind, walking down the long corridor, and finally enters the auction hall. Gazing at the packed room, she can tell the real show has already begun. Before she can even assess her surroundings, a voice on the stage rings out. Her timing is absolutely impeccable, isn't it? In an auction hall where everyone harbors their own sinister schemes, can Levi make it out in one piece? The auctioneer on the stage is passionately peddling the goods, not forgetting to stroke the egos of the wealthy guests first. The next treasure will absolutely not disappoint you. As the atmosphere reaches a fever pitch, the highlight of the night finally appears. Who would have thought that this so-called rare commodity is actually a living human? Bound tightly in heavy iron chains, the man can only crawl onto the stage like a beast. The auctioneer even has the audacity to call him a fine specimen with beautiful gray hair. This is the star of tonight's show, a combat slave with the codename Gray. Looking at the countless scars covering his body, one can easily guess what kind of life he has endured. This is no way to treat a human. They are clearly selling him like livestock. The auctioneer continues his shameless pitch, boasting that he can serve as a loyal hound by day and a plaything for amusement by night. These sickening words make Levi feel utterly repulsed. She watches everything coldly, already forming a plan. At that exact moment, the man's aura undergoes a sudden, drastic shift. This is no docile slave. The look in his eyes is unmistakably that of an untamed lone wolf. Who could guess that the man currently bound in heavy iron chains before her has such a prestigious background? According to the original storyline, he is saved by the second prince, becoming the imperial family's most obedient hound. But no one knows that his true identity is actually a lost bloodline of the ducal family. Once his wolf-like nature is unleashed, the entire empire will likely tremble. According to the original script, this man is destined to die at the hands of Damien, yet in the final moment of his dying breath, he miraculously regains his sanity. How cruel and ironic it is at that exact moment that all his memories flood back. Such a fate is pure torture, for everything is already too late. Bringing her focus back to the present, he stands shirtless on the stage, like mere merchandise subjected to the crowd's pointing fingers. Who could foresee that his eventual end will be so utterly tragic? Standing in a dark corner, Levi stares intently at him. Since she is starting anew, she will absolutely not let that tragedy happen again. In the original novel, this man's fate is truly too heartbreaking. Right now, he is like an untamed, wild beast. Even though he is bound in heavy iron chains, he has no intention of submitting. His sudden lunge nearly scares the guards out of their wits. Unfortunately, as the chain around his neck tightens, he is violently jerked back. This brutal force treats him as nothing more than an animal. The stage suddenly falls into absolute chaos, as several burly men rush forward, pinning him tightly to the floor. Their actions are utterly merciless as they plunge a syringe into him. The drug takes effect instantly. No matter how powerful he is, he can only lie there completely at their mercy. If Levi does not act, this wolf will surely fall into someone else's hands. Who could guess that the moment the needle pierces his skin, the man immediately loses consciousness? The crowd below whispers and murmurs, suspecting that this merchandise is about to draw its last breath. Seeing that things are going downhill, the auctioneer quickly calls out the starting price. Just 1 gold coin. This is basically giving him away for free. While his silver tongue hypes him up as a top-tier hunting hound, anyone with sharp eyes can see that he is clearly a rabid dog. Now the atmosphere in the hall instantly drops to freezing point. Absolutely no one wants to be the fool who takes on this liability. The auctioneer begins to panic. Is this merchandise really going to remain unsold today? The crowd below is only here for the spectacle. Who would waste money on a piece of trash that is both filthy and useless? They even believe he brings bad luck. Looking at the man's state, the drug is still in full effect. He cannot even lift his head. Now the auctioneer also finds himself in a tight spot, as some people in the crowd even chime in, suggesting this kind of merchandise should be thrown straight into the pigsty to get it over with. Right at this moment, a voice suddenly rings out. Wait! Steady footsteps walk straight toward the front of the stage, and the eyes of the entire hall instantly turn to focus on that direction. Levi speaks up. I take this person. Looking at her attitude, she is clearly not joking. Her face bears a look of absolute determination to have this merchandise, which leaves everyone around her completely stunned. Who expects that at such a critical moment, someone who does not fear death actually steps forward to claim him? Levi's footsteps make the entire hall fall dead silent. No one expects her to dare touch this hot potato, even though he is in chains. The ruthlessness in this man's blood does not diminish in the slightest. The auctioneer stammers, hurriedly asking how much she plans to bid, and Levi does not even bother to hide herself. She directly takes off her hood. Her resolute demeanor of having him at all costs instantly overwhelms the entire hall. 4 gold coins. As soon as she offers this price, it is clear she wants to take this man away by any means. The deal is finalized, and the man is immediately dragged out, tossed onto a cargo cart like a mere object. The auctioneer is very polite now, leaning in to ask Levi where she wants to take the man. Levi does not turn her head, only instructs him to pull the cart to the plaza, saying she has a carriage prepared there. This money is truly too easy to make. The auctioneer secretly rejoices, thinking Levi is just a foolish victim of a scam. After all, while 1 gold coin can buy a strong laborer, she directly throws away 4 coins, but Levi thinks completely differently. She even considers this price an absolute steal, a massive bargain. Who expects that the pile of mud lying on that cart actually holds the true identity of the lord of a grand ducal family? Levi spends this money not just to find an assistant. She wants to pull this completely broken man out of hell. As long as she returns him safely to the Duke's residence, this debt of gratitude is worth far more than those few gold coins. At this moment, Levi's true purpose finally becomes clear. She is not doing charity, but is looking for her strongest pillar of support. As long as she changes this plot of certain death, no one dares to touch her in the future. However, this man is not easy to handle right now. Even though he is gagged, his will to resist is not extinguished in the slightest. Levi, however, is not afraid at all. She steps forward directly to coax him, whispering gently, "Be good, everything is going to be fine." Who expects that the man, just a moment ago like a wild, frenzied beast, is actually coaxed into obedience by her? This soothing trick of Levi's indeed works. She softly reassures him that she absolutely will not sell him, let alone harm him. Her tone sounds just like she is coaxing a child. In the blink of an eye, he is brought back to the room. Levi waves her hand to dismiss Wallen and the guards first. She must handle the next steps herself. If she wants to have a heart-to-heart, she must let him see clearly who his savior is. Levi casually reaches out and directly removes the mask from his face. This man's injuries are truly severe. At first glance, one might think he has stopped breathing, but Levi knows well in her heart that as long as these wounds are healed, that face will absolutely stun everyone. Levi turns to instruct Wallen to quickly find a reliable doctor, and this matter must be kept strictly secret, absolutely. Not to be leaked out. Although Wallen sighs, he has no choice but to comply. After all, Levi is now much more mature and steady than before. Considering the man's delirious state of mind, Levi does not intend to remove his shackles if she lets him suddenly go. Wild and run away, all her previous efforts go down the drain. She must wait until his body is stronger, then Levi will personally interrogate him. The man finally wakes up. Levi, keeping watch by the bedside, smiles and greets him, only to almost scare him into jumping up in terror. Wallen, watching from behind, surely feels his heart leap into his throat. Levi, however, is not the least bit panicked. She directly reaches out her hand to soothe him. She utters an apology, but in truth, she wants him to lie still obediently. After all, this man possesses formidable skills. Releasing him now is where the real trouble lies. Levi is still explaining, saying that she keeps him chained because she fears he might suddenly go wild and injure others. If he truly feels uncomfortable, it is not like they cannot negotiate. Unexpectedly, the man actually proactively moves closer, like a little puppy seeking affection, nuzzling against Levi's palm. This reaction catches her so off guard that she does not know what to do. Looking at this submissive behavior, Levi cannot help but chuckle. It seems this tactic of overcoming hardness with softness is truly more effective than head-on confrontation. Since her opponent is so well-behaved, Levi goes with the flow and continues to soothe him, but in her heart she also wonders, theoretically, his mental state should not be this weak. Looking at the gentle man before her, Levi already has a plan. Saving his life is not enough. She cannot just bring him a bowl of rice. One day she must find a way to help him regain his memories. Levi whispers good night. At last, the anniversary of the goddess's descent arrives. Bustling figures are everywhere, and it seems the scale of this festival is by no means small. Isla runs over carrying a basket, and the moment she sees Levi, she cannot help but shower her with compliments, saying today she looks truly beautiful. Levi's attire today is indeed different from her usual wear. Her entire being radiates radiance and vitality. Even so, Levi herself feels a bit shy. She murmurs softly, "It is just a hunting competition. Am I dressed a bit too much?" Looking at Isla's excitement, it is certain that in everyone's eyes, Levi today is the focal point of the entire event. Isla feels that Levi's outfit is absolutely flawless, serving as the absolute perfect center of attention. She even begins to worry that Levi's beauty will attract the attention of bad men. Levi, however, does not think much of it. She believes today is a hunting competition, and everyone focuses their minds on the prey, so where is the time to stare at her? Isla does not think so. She says that besides the competition, many people are coming specifically to cheer for Levi. For instance, as she is mid-sentence, Isla suddenly pulls out a lovely little box and asks if Levi wants to accept it. This unexpected gift catches Levi completely off guard. What is inside the box, after all? Isla opens the box to reveal a sparkling pink gem inside. She says that during their last stroll on the streets, she saw Levi staring at it, so she specially bought it. Levi is actually a bit embarrassed. At that time, she was clearly looking at the flyer next to it, not paying attention to the necklace at all. Yet facing Isla's sincerity, she still shows great surprise and joy. Isla personally clasps the necklace around Levi's neck, praising how the color of the stone perfectly matches her eyes. Looking at herself in the mirror, Levi also finds this gift indeed suits her well. She smiles and thanks Isla. The atmosphere between the two becomes incredibly warm. After receiving the gift, Levi's first reaction is to worry about the cost. She is certain that this item is not cheap at all. Isla, however, acts very generous, saying that money does not matter. The key is that she feels this stone carries a positive energy, so she insists on giving it to Levi. Levi is dumbfounded upon hearing this. What energy? It sounds so mystical. Finally, Isla adds another line, saying that this necklace will bring luck to Levi. even invoking the goddess's blessing as a guarantee. Just as Levi and the others prepare to set off, on a tree-lined path in another direction, a carriage sways as it moves along. Damien sits alone inside the carriage, his state looking extremely unstable. He curses under his breath, "Damn it," as it seems. A major issue is occurring in his body, even giving him the urge to personally carve out the brand mark on his skin. Damien is using his strength to press hard against his thigh as a bone-deep pain surges again. It has clearly been peaceful for a while, so why does it flare up right at this moment? Freed, sitting opposite him, notices the anomaly and quickly asks, "Is there somewhere you feel unwell?" Damien tries to suppress it and makes an excuse, saying he is only watching the weather, fearing that rain later will ruin the hunting competition. Even he probably does not believe this excuse. Freed, however, does not doubt him in the slightest and continues the conversation. He says that they absolutely cannot afford any mistakes in their team-up for this competition. Damien indifferently pulls the window curtain. The red mark on the back of his hand still has not faded. He smiles, promising to work hard together. But can his physical condition hold out until the competition ends? Freed's bright smile gives Damien a premonition that this is not simple. His hand, which just clenched, makes the team-up seem set in stone. The more Damien thinks, the more he senses something is off. This is completely unlike Freed's usual style to force him to participate. Freed actually leaks the news to the press beforehand. Now, Damien cannot refuse even if he wants to, forced to move forward. He looks at his older brother in front of him, secretly wondering what kind of conspiracy this guy is plotting. After all, Freed's recent actions, indeed, are far too unusual. Damien cannot help but ponder what secret lies behind this. Freed stares at Damien. Is this guy starting to act strange again? Damien does not reply, only casts his gaze out the window. At this moment, Levi is already there, basking in the warm sunlight and stretching to warm up. Beside the carriage, Damien instantly freezes. How is this possible? Why does she appear here? This time, it is big trouble. Things are completely outside his expectations. Levi's appearance this time clearly aims for the goddess's sacred relic. The atmosphere of the venue suddenly turns solemn. The presiding priest on the platform requests that everyone offer up their most devout prayers. The priest loudly declares that as long as this torch is lit, the hunting competition officially begins. Right. As the signal is given, everyone swarms into the forest like a disturbed beehive, each wanting to claim the first victory. Levi lags behind, her steps clearly somewhat labored. After all, this is a major event concerning the future of the Empire. Whoever takes the top spot becomes the sharpest Empire's sword. Levi's physical stamina indeed cannot keep up, and while she is worrying, a voice suddenly rings out from behind. The newcomer is none other than Ivan, the heir of the G family, known as the Empire's shield. Levi, slightly surprised, asks why he has not set off yet. Ivan keeps a calm face as if it is only natural, saying, "Since we are teammates, we must advance and retreat together." Although his mouth says this, in his heart he is 100,000 times unwilling. Ivan mutters under his breath, actually, he would rather team up with the prince. Levi can only give a forced smile while standing beside him. As for how two people with completely opposite personalities can become a team, one must turn back to the moment the list was announced earlier. Not long ago, the camp suddenly becomes noisy. It turns out the list for the teams is posted, and everyone crowds around to see. This time, the first prince and the second prince actually join forces. This powerhouse combination is undoubtedly the favorite to win. But the most surprising thing is that Levi's name also appears on it. Only the teammate's spot next to hers is still left blank. Right at this moment, a harsh laugh rings out from nearby. Ivan sneers contemptuously. Whoever teams up with her is cursed with bad luck for 8 lifetimes. In his eyes, Levi is nothing but a burden. Ivan adds that being on the same team as this disabled person means they will not only finish dead last, but also make a laughingstock of themselves on the front page of the newspapers together. He even says that if they are not chased by wild boars, it is already a blessing. Every single one of these words falls directly into Levi's ears. Levi indeed finds herself in a slightly awkward position. Who is going to clean up this mess? She steps forward with a smile and says, I originally planned to team up with Ivan, the sword and shield of the Empire indeed. Make a perfect match. These words leave Ivan speechless, forced to let Levi claim a connection. Levi hums a little tune as she leisurely follows behind, her state of mind truly as solid as a rock, since it has. Come to this, she simply waits and sees if this heir of the G family can carry her to victory. Ivan and Levi are following each other deep into the forest. Levi suddenly calls him back and casually hands over a small vial. Lord Ivan, please take this. Ivan looks at the item in his hand with a bewildered mind. What is this? Levi has calculated everything thoroughly. This is a charm to lure prey. Teaming up with a useless person like me is already unfair enough for you. If we cannot even spot a trace of any prey, then today is truly a waste of effort. Levi's sigh sounds as if lacking confidence. Ivan does not fall for the trick and immediately counters if they attract too many. Pray, can she even cope with her physical strength? Unexpectedly, Levi suddenly changes her tone and proposes with a smile. Since we are already playing, why don't we make a bet? If our team wins, whoever catches more prey, the reward belongs to that person. The provocative tone in her words is incredibly clear. Levi asks in return, what is it? Does Lord G have no confidence? Since things have come to this point, Ivan has no intention of backing down either. He accepts directly, fine, is it not just a bet? The two of them follow each other into the forest, the brilliant sunlight dazzling their eyes. Ivan tightly clutches the small vial in his hand. The more he looks at it, the more he feels something is off. This so-called amulet is, to put it plainly, just a sedative. Ivan laughs mockingly at himself. Since when does he fall so low as to rely on superstition to hunt? Although he complains outwardly, Ivan still wears the vial on his hip. Who would expect the scent emanating from this thing to take effect so quickly? Ivan still wonders in his heart, how does a useless person who cannot even catch a wild boar have the audacity to bet with him? This is no different from an insult to him. Right at this moment, rapid footsteps echo from the forest. Several wild boars rush straight at them as if driven mad. This is exactly what Ivan wants. He grips his sword hilt. If they want to compete, he must show some real skill. Ivan draws his sword from its scabbard. He is determined to use a knight's name to utterly crush Levi's pride. This battle is his to win. She should just stay obediently in the back, tossing back that line. Ivan completely ignores the danger before him. At this moment, his grandfather's teachings from years ago flash through his mind. He always said, our family is already the Empire's shield. Our responsibility is to shield from the front, not to swing swords to kill. But the Ivan of today has thrown all those old rules to the wind. He feels his grandfather's theory is completely wrong. After all, only when protecting those who are worthy does the shield have a reason to exist. This strike of Ivan's is incredibly decisive and clean. He simply wants to show Levi what real swordsmanship is. Levi observes coldly from the side. Ivan suppresses a surge of anger in his heart. He wants to prove to everyone that he is absolutely not just a shield according to his family tradition. And the result, before the wild boars on the ground can even turn cold, Ivan starts to show off. He feels this bet is already in his hands, but before he can enjoy his triumph for long, a low growl suddenly echoes from the forest. This sound is clearly not on the same level as the small fry just now. The beast emerging from the bushes is unbelievably massive. Ivan is completely stunned. Just a moment ago he thought he had won, but as it turns out, more and more wild boars emerge from the forest. This situation is clearly like poking a hornet's nest. Levi stands to the side watching the drama, even finding it quite amusing. She leisurely reminds Ivan, wild boars are fiercely protective of their young. Since you slashed them so satisfyingly just now, do you think their family will let you off, however, to lure so many wild boars? The credit must go to the specially made potion in Levi's hand. This time, Ivan is completely trapped. If he wants to be a hero, he must first find a way to survive this onslaught of wild boars. This glittering little item is called spirit tears. On the black market, everyone thinks it is just an ordinary ornament, but in truth, it possesses a fatal attraction for wild boars. With just a bit of refinement, It can drive these beasts completely mad. Clearly, Levi has known this secret for a long time. She deliberately sprinkled powder around, just to dig a huge pit for Ivan. The result is exactly what they see now. Ivan is surrounded by the herd of wild boars with no way out. What worries him most right now is losing face before Levi, having gone too far to turn back, even though he is clearly struggling under the siege of the wild boars. He still refuses to admit defeat. Ivan shouts loudly, "Do not interfere, this prey is mine." Hearing this, Levi only finds it ridiculous. "Since you want to show off so much, I will add fuel to the fire for you." Levi casually crushes the crystal in her hand. "Fine, as you wish." Levi wants to see when his life is barely hanging by a thread what kind of trump card Ivan is actually hiding. As a result, Ivan can only grit his teeth and hold on amidst the herd of wild boars. The beasts, driven completely mad by the stimulant, are utterly frenzied. This time Ivan is cornered. Seeing the wild boars about to charge, he finally stops posing. With a whoosh, Ivan's aura completely changes. The moment he swings his sword, the wild boars that were frantically charging just now are instantly blown away by this power. Levi, observing from the side, sees it very clearly. The moment he grips the sword hilt, the magical power inside his body completely changes. How interesting. Levi stares at the man before her. This strength is not something an ordinary person can unleash. This time, Ivan is truly risking his life. This is the defensive swordsmanship of the G family, as this strike is unleashed. The commotion is so grand that even the ground shakes. Levi, who originally intended to watch a good show, now has to admit that Ivan indeed has some skill. He has mastered the heirloom technique to perfection. The wild boars are blown away by the power, but Ivan also suffers a painful recoil. He curses under his breath, "Damn it!" The move just now was strong, but the aftermath is too severe. Ivan cannot even hold his sword now anymore. Ivan frantically panics, "My sword!" But the wild boars give him absolutely no chance to catch his breath. The beast has locked onto its target, rushing straight at him. Unarmed, Ivan can only watch helplessly as the enemy charges at him. This time there is truly no retreat. At the critical moment, a cold flash of light gleams. Before the mad boar can even touch Ivan, it is intercepted by someone else. The beast that was charging aggressively just now is thrown back by a force. Finally, a lifesaver appears, but before Ivan can breathe a sigh of relief, several more rush out from the forest. This time he is truly helpless. Levi cannot ignore this any longer. If she continues to watch, he might lose his life here. She smiles and says, "If you become the first unlucky casualty of the competition, won't you steal all the spotlight? Well, need a hand." Levi and her flying sword arrive just in time. Currently, Ivan is targeted by the herd of monsters. The situation is extremely dire. To be honest, she really wants to just leave him to suffer a bit. After all, in the past, this guy lectured her quite a few times. But she has to admit, Ivan indeed works much harder than her. She gets to where she is today purely due to natural talent. His scolding her for not practicing is indeed not wrong at all. That being the case, she still has to save him. Levi controls her flying sword to pierce straight at the monster. This strike of Levi's is truly not merciful, instantly piercing through the monster. Ivan is truly dazed now. He probably never expected that a normally unreliable-looking Levi would be so fierce at the crucial moment. With the loud thud of the monster collapsing, this crisis is finally resolved. Levi slowly walks over. Looking at Ivan's blank face, she feels extremely pleased. "Fine. Then, considering how pathetic you are today, I will temporarily not settle our past scores with you." Levi suddenly stops her steps, staring at Ivan and asking, "Are you injured?" Ivan is indeed a stubborn one. He turns his head away. "It's nothing." Levi is not easily fooled. He is bleeding, and yet he is still here playing the hero. She does not wait for his nonsense, directly stepping forward to grab Ivan's arm. This action catches Ivan off guard. Struggling, he shouts, "What are you doing?" Levi replies in annoyance, "Stop moving." Next, she takes out a potion vial and pours it directly onto Ivan's bleeding wound. The medicine's effect is likely very strong, causing Ivan to grit his teeth in pain. Levi's movements are incredibly fluid. She tears a piece of cloth and begins to bandage him up. While doing so, Levi says, "The wound is not deep, the blood will stop flowing soon." One must admit. Your family's defensive technique is indeed formidable. Hearing this, Ivan begins to be suspicious again. Are you mocking me, saying I only know how to use defensive techniques? Levi laughs helplessly. Why are you thinking so negatively? I never thought that. She looks straight into Ivan's eyes and seriously adds, "This hunt is successful all thanks to your fearless defense." I'm sincerely praising you. This sudden confession leaves Ivan completely speechless. While bandaging him, Levi continues to praise, "That defensive swordsmanship is something you poured your heart into practicing. You should feel proud of it." Seeing Ivan silent, Levi seriously adds, "I am not just being polite. The move just now was really cool. After all, everyone has their own strengths." Finishing the last wrap of the bandage, Levi casually pats his shoulder. Done. This guy truly cannot stay idle. Having just treated his wound, he is already shouting about catching the next prey. But when he turns around, Levi notices something is not right. Ivan's state looks extremely unusual. Levi wonders it is not even cold, so why is his face blushing so red-like? The hunting festival finally ends, but the atmosphere at the camp seems somewhat off. Those cargo wagons are empty after lingering all day. Many people didn't even catch a shadow of a monster. Even Damien and Fried return empty-handed this time. Fried keeps complaining he originally intended to cooperate with his elder brother to secure a high rank anyway, but in the end, he was just a foil for others the entire time. Right at this moment, Levi and Ivan stumble back, looking at Levi's stretching shoulders. She must be exhausted, but compared to those who harvested nothing, this ride of theirs is not in vain at all. Fried says there is always a next time, but looking at Damien's retreating back, doubt begins to creep in. He suddenly realizes one thing. Damien has absolutely no mood for hunting today, even deliberately hindering his own progress. After all, this cold-faced brother of his did not go up the mountain for any competition. What on earth is he looking for? Fried thinks the more he contemplates, the more off it feels. Damien's behavior in the forest today is clearly not for hunting. His distracted look is clearly searching for something else. While Fried is lost in thought, the camp suddenly erupts in whispers. Everyone rushes over, pointing at a carriage. This carriage is piled high like a small mountain full of high-level prey. The people around are stunned, competing to guess which expert could catch so many beasts in this hellish weather. Now the truth is revealed. The monsters in the forest have been completely monopolized by this team. No wonder other teams couldn't even get a single one. Right after the referee loudly announces the results, today's champion team is Levi and Ivan. As soon as this news spreads, the whole venue boils over. Who could have expected that these two combining forces could produce such terrifying strength? As this, Levi acts very naturally, standing on the podium waving and smiling. On the contrary, Ivan standing beside her looks quite embarrassed. The audience below still whispers and discusses. This achievement is truly beyond imagination. The number of prey that Levi's team caught is double that of the runner-up team of Fried. This is not hunting, it is clearly wholesale gathering. As soon as this result is announced, the stands explode and someone immediately shouts, "No way, are they cheating?" The organizers hastily speak up to deny it, saying they have checked carefully, and their achievements are 100% real, without any dishonesty. Levi is overflowing with joy, waving and smiling radiantly on the podium, while Ivan standing beside her remains as quiet as a clam. At this moment, the priest of the holy temple holds a bouquet and steps onto the podium, saying to Levi, "Young Miss Heron, congratulations to you both on winning the championship." The priest continues to announce that the commemorative medal and rewards prepared by the temple will be officially presented at the upcoming ball. Levi radiantly receives the bouquet, replying with a smile, "Thank you." The cheers below the stage grow louder, the scene even more bustling than a festival day. The festival, Fried stands below gazing at this scene, his heart swirling with a mixture of complex emotions. The championship that seemed so secure within his grasp now slips away. Damien still maintains his icy, unreadable expression, uttering not a single word. No one can guess what he is thinking. Levi stands high upon the stage, her entire being radiating a brilliant, dazzling glow. At this moment, she becomes the absolute center of everyone's attention. Who can ever imagine that Damien, who always remains utterly composed even if the heavens fall, would now show such highly unusual behavior? His entire body freezes up, unable to utter even a single word, clearly struggling to suppress a surge of intense, overwhelming emotion. And this very sight is fully captured by Freed, who stands right beside him. He does not plan to let this detail slip by. Freed scrutinizes his older brother with deep intrigue, his mind already harboring the ultimate answer. His expectant look, as if waiting to watch a good drama unfold, clearly reveals that he has discovered Damien's weakness. This is bound to get interesting. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoy this, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel to receive our latest updates.